Now we will move on to next session. As the morning deepens, we now travel to the culturally vibrant land of Andhra, home to saints whose songs became scriptures of the heart. This session, titled Saints from Andhra Pradesh, brings alive the spiritual resonance of Annamacharya, the philosophical clarity of Vemana, and the devotional fire of Ramadas. We are delighted to welcome Dr. Subrahmanyam Gorthi, Associate Professor, Department of Electrical Engineering, IIT Tirupati, a scholar who harmonies scientific insight with cultural depth. Sir, we invite you to guide us through the soulful legacy of these great saints. I would like to call upon the stage our director, Sri H.N. Suresh sir, to honor the esteemed guest. Thank you, sir. Dr. Subrahmanyam Gorthi is an associate professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering at the Indian Institute of Technology, Tirupati. He holds a PhD in medical image processing from EPFL, Switzerland, an MSc Engineering in Computational Science from the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and the BTech in Electrical and Electronics Engineering from Nagarjuna University. His academic journey reflects a strong foundation in engineering and computational science, leading to impactful contribution in medical imaging and social signal processing. Before joining IIT Tirupati, Dr. Gorthi gained diverse professional experience across academia and industry. He serves as a postdoctoral fellow at Harvard Medical School and Boston Children's Hospital, where he advanced research in medical imaging. He also works as a chief engineering at Samsung R&D Institute, Bangalore, contributing to cutting-edge technology development. His earlier roles include software engineering at SoftJin Technologies and research assistance at IIC Bangalore, which provide him with a broad perspective on both applied and fundamental research. Since 2016, Dr. Gorthi has been a key faculty member at IIT Tirupati, initially as associate professor, assistant professor, and now as associate professor. His teaching and research focus on medical imaging processing, computer vision, and signal processing, with over 40 peer-reviewed publications in reputed journals and conferences. His work has been recognized internationally and continue to influence advancement in healthcare technology and computational imaging.
Yeah, namaskaram to all, and a very good morning to one and all. Thank you for the kind introduction, ma'am. And it has been a pleasure. It's a privilege to be here participating in this Santhavani. And so, yeah, we had a very insightful pointers about what exactly is Sant and all. So this is very nice. So the task given is sons from Andhra Pradesh. There are quite a few. So have been picked Annamacharya, Yogi Vemana, and Bhakta Ramadas. So even maybe we'll take 1 hour to actually dive reasonably deep into even one would be difficult. So what we will do is, with permissions from you, we'll just stick on to Annamacharya in the interest of time. And let's all travel together to dive into three aspects of Annamacharya in this presentation. So we would see about first the divine life of Annamacharya, and followed by that, let's taste a bit of the nectar from his kirtanas. We'll pick up few kirtanas and see the meaning and the aspects of his kirtanas. Followed by that, which we considered as typically a under-noticed aspect of it, where a rediscovery of legacy of Annamacharya. So these are the three aspects that we'll be going through in this presentation. So first, let's start with the divine life of Annamacharya. So the key reference book that is followed to have a to know about the life of Annamacharya is this book that you see here, Sri Tallapaka Annamacharya Jivita Charitramu. This is a Dvipada Kavyam which has been written by the grandson of Annamacharya. So the whole presentation here will be primarily based on, and of course will be supported from the other sources, but this happens to be the key reference for this exploration, right? And like any great sant comes and has been helping the humanity, you would see that one of the amsas of the Lord will be very prominent in him. And what is believed by Annamacharya is he is the amsa of Nandaka Khadga of Sri Mahavishnu. And once we go through it, it won't be anymore a belief, considering the impacts of works he has done and the way he has uplifted humanity in general. Once we see it, we will see that this cannot be false. Okay, this is, in fact, this is the one. So he was born in 1408 is what is mostly agreed upon the year, and another school of thought says this, he's born in 1424, while perhaps for me seems 1424 seems to be the actual date. Anyway, we will not go into that in the interest of time. So he's born to the parents Narayana Suri and Lakkamamba. So he was born in the Andhra Pradesh in, yeah, by the way, when we say Andhra here, it's both Andhra and Telangana is what we refer to here now, in Telugu in general, let's put it. So he is now still in Andhra anyways. He's born in Tallapaka village in Kadapa district, and the kind of omens and the kind of divine visions that the parents have got, and all of them have assured them that a divine being is about to born to them. And he was born, and unlike we see in movies of Annamacharya, where he seems to be lost in the world, cinematically sounds interesting, but from the life of, thank you, sir. From the life of Annamacharya that has been written and has been documented, he is very devout child from the very beginning of his life. So that has been a part and parcel of it. So they say even in Kirtanas, he doesn't eat without listening to the name of Narayana, and all his plays are related to Narayana, connected to Narayana in a way or the other. So also from the Kirtanas we see that at the age of 8, by the time itself, he is somewhat already started feeling vairagya because of the worldly activities, the people around him, the parents, the society and all are involved. So that vairagya getting entangled into the activities of the materialistic world with a materialistic approach has already kind of brought in him a kind of disassociation. So seeing this child and not really understanding what's going on in the background because of his Janma Samskara itself, they were pushing him to get involved in worldly activities, which include, for example, what has been told in that book is he was asked to cut the grass in the fields, and in that process, while he is doing with his mind in Paradhyana, in the dhyana of the Lord, his finger got cut, it was bleeding, but he is not even bothered about it. So it is at that time he listened, he come across a group of people saying the name of Narayana, Govinda, Govinda, and going to Tirumala. And again, because of the call of his very birth, or you could say when that's the call of the 7 hills. So with that, he followed them. And by the way, unlike we see in movies, the age at that point of time is 8-year kid. And he went there along with them. And a very clear description of what all he visited, including the Grama Devata of Tirupati, and then to having a bath in the Pushkarini, and all these things have been clearly illustrated. And while he was going onto the 7 hills, he actually was going like anyone else at that point of time with chapels. And by the time, because of walking perhaps from Tallapaka near Kadapa till Tirumala, he is coming by walk. So he kind of was tired and fell asleep while climbing the mountain there. And then he heard, that's when we say the mother can be equated with grace, so that's when the grace appeared to him for the first time. So he could hear her Vani first in his dream, where it told him that you are on the sacred of the sacred, and this itself is Narayana himself. So don't walk with chapels on this, leave your chapels. So he woke up all of a sudden, removed he has thrown away his chapels, and what he could see, the mountain. Until then, what he was seeing as the mountain is what we see right now, most of us would see right now. And to him, then he describes how that appeared as a mountain of Suvarna, and a real the Lord himself being there, and it will come in the descriptions that we will see shortly. And it's started with the Vani of the Alarmail Manga, and he is already hungry by the time, and she has been offered the prashada, which has been eaten by the mother and Lord Vishnu, and with that, and that too given by the mother herself. So that has brought him into the utmost state. And then the very beginning with the prasad, which is a Sheshabhukta of the mother and the father, that in him activated or in him triggered the Janma Samskara and started composing his kirtanas from then onwards, they will say. And it has been told that if he has 2 Angavastra with him, 2 dhotes with him, while he just washes one, initiated into Sri Vaishnava and Divya Prabandhams, and all of them he studied there for few years under the guidance of Sri Ghana Vishnu. And then, anyways, have been some time, parents have figured out his whereabouts, and they have come here, persuaded the boy to take home, and he was there at home, but now in a different, even in a further blissful state. And some time passed by, and the Lord Vishnu himself appeared to the parents of the 2, perhaps the relatives of Annamaya as well, has 2 daughters by the name Timmakka and Akkamma, and directed them to give these 2 girls, marry them to Annamacharya. And Annamacharya is very reluctant to get married. He is already at the state of dispassion at the age of 8 itself. But again, Venkateswara persuaded him to get married and told him that he'll take care. And that's how he got married. So then with his 2 wives, not to honeymoon, he started his Tirtha Yatras from there. And the Tirtha Yatras after the marriage, and there is, in this book, you would find out a very clear description of where all he went, starting from, they call it as Tuli Gadapa. Kadapa is actually known as Gadapa. So that's where he started with. And he had the darshan of Sri Channakesava Swami, and continued it through various sacred shrines, and finally, of course, visited obviously Tirumala, and then all this Tirtha Yatra culminated at a place called Ahobilam. That's the actual word is Ahobalam. That is a Navanarasimha Kshetra, and it has been told that this is the place where the Prahlada Charitra happened. And here again, if after he sees every god, one of the uniqueness of Annamaya is every god he sees in them Venkateshwara and finally ends up with Venkateshwara. And if at all, if we have to somehow force it to rank, the next favorite god comes to him is Narasimha Swami. He has written so many kirtanas on Narasimha Swami. And here there is again a great saint called Satagopa Yatindra. And he has initiated now, till then you could say the bhakti has taken the precedence. Now along with that, added to that, now the mantra diksha of the 32 akshara mantra of Sri Narasimha Swami, he has been initiated into it. And he attained siddhi in this, and he had practiced and did the mantra diksha under his guidance. So now with that, again, he is now at the age of 16, he got married. And it is at that time, they say, the darshan of Venkateshwara, it has been also clearly mentioned in the book written by that. He had the darshan of Venkateshwara at the age of 16. So then Venkateshwara instructed him to worship him through his Sankirtanas. That's the word, that's the instruction given by Venkateshwara to Annamaya. Then he has taken a oath, a pratigna, that he would worship him with at least one kirtana a day from that. We'll again come back to that shortly, a little later. But that's the oath he has taken. And with the blessings and grace of Lord Venkateshwara, followed by again bhakti, jnana, and the anusthana, everything culminated in him, and they are just flowing through him. All the kirtanas are flowing through him, and they are, since they have their source from the very Lord itself, they just penetrated into the people, masses, like everything. Wherever he goes, everybody, whenever he sings, that's what is kind of bringing all people into bhakti marga. And again, this is also the time of King Saluva Narasimha. He is the king of Vijayanagara Samsthana at that point of time. And his name, fame, everything kind of exploded like wildfire. And he heard about him with a high regard. He invited him to the kingdom. He has kind of served him well and requested him to be there in their kingdom, in their asthana, as an asthana vidvamsa. And he has been there on and off there for some time. He used to visit there as asthana vidvamsa. And over a period of time, again, like that lenience, and once we see people for quite enough time, we forget about their divinity and start treating them like anyone else. And it is at that time, there is a, he has written a lot of Sringara Kirtanas on Venkateshwara and Alarmel Manga, and with Nayaki Bhava, where the Annamaya himself considers himself as the Nayika and has been written. So if that is not seen from a devotional perspective, if that seed is not there, and if this is seen from a materialistic view, looks like a very romantic poems and very worldly things and very attractive things in that perspective. And Saluva Narasimha start feeling and asked Annamaya to, you please write kirtanas on me and my wife as well, the way you are kind of praising them. And he said, this tongue is dedicated to the Lord Vishnu, and this is not going to do any kirtana of any Nara. This is to Narayana. And the king, he'll have the power. So he is in that intoxication of power, carried away, and he was imprisoned. And it is at that time he has prayed to Narasimha, and the whole chains with which he has been kind of prisoned got broken. And the kirtanas written on Narasimha also, whether we understand Telugu or not, if one listens to them, they say, poetry is felt before it is understood. That's what is told, and one could definitely feel that in the kirtanas written by Annamaya. So then king realizes his actual state came from that intoxication, and then after that Annamaya also says, enough of being as your asthana vidvamsa, and that's one of the important, and he left from there, and full time, no more visits here. And so that's one thing. And another very important aspect of Annamaya is because of the grace of the Lord. It's not only he who was actually worshipping him with one kirtana a day. That same tradition came to his sons as well and his grandsons as well. The son is Peda Tirumalacharya again. There are few other variants of the names also. He is also referred to as Pedanna, and his son again is called as China Tiruvengala, or Chinnanna is what people usually call him. And it is in fact the book we were referring to has been written by Chinnanna. He was there very much at the time of Annamacharya was there. And this tradition has come, this tradition of worshipping the Lord through kirtanas has come as inheritance to them for many generations. So they have also worshipped, and in fact some of the kirtanas, popular kirtanas which we enjoy right now, are in fact written by some of them we consider Annamaya, but in fact they were written by Pedanna and Chinnanna as well. So after that, again after returning to Tirumala, which we mentioned, he has spent his time in the constant devotion and song, and then he attained Paramapadam. He left his body, and this is well documented. There was, in fact, the earlier one also was documented, but the way the interpretation from copper plates and other things, there were some issues with the punctuations which led to a little bit of confusion about which was the date of his birth, whether it is 1408 or 1424, but he attained Paramapadam. This date is very Palguna Masa Dwadasi. So that was February 23, 1503. So this is his quick, maybe in 8-9 slides. We were just, or you can say 8-9 themes. That's how the life of Annamacharya is. That's the life history of Annamacharya. And let's spend next few minutes, maybe around 10 minutes, on getting a taste of some of his kirtanas, few drops of nectar. Let's go through them. And before doing that, again, from the Dvipada Kavyam written by the Chinnanna, here is what he mentions about the kirtanas of Annamacharya. He says, Srutulai, Sastramulai, Purana Kadhalai, Sujnana Sarambulai, Yeti Lokagama Vidhulai, Vipula Mantrardhamulai, Neetulai, Krutulai, Venkata Saila Vallabhu Ratikreda Rahasyamulai, Nutulai, Talulapaka Annamaya Vachonnata Kriyal Channagun. This is what he says. His kirtanas, he is also probably this is the right time to know that he is considered as Padakavita Pitamaha. Padakavita till then were like a folklore songs which people doing work in the fields are not so educated people would be just singing it. Those are called as kavita, which are there in padas. But he is considered as Padakavita Pitamaha. Reason being, he has adopted a similar style. Now, if we see from the literary perspective, he adopted a similar style, but the profoundness and the knowledge that he has embedded in that, even a great scholar wouldn't be able to present it anything better than that. So that's why he has, on one side, the balance of both has come. On one side, it looks even those who are not into Vedanta can sing, enjoy the divinity of it. And at the same time, scholars also equally alike could see the profoundness of it. And they were embedding on one side Shrutis, Vedas, the philosophies of Vedas, Shastras, Puranas, and many other things also. And mantrarthas. They say, one of the great scholars says that in order to understand that what he has written about Hanuma, one has to know about Parasara Samhita. Unless the stories in Parasara Samhita are known, it is very difficult to understand what he has mentioned about Hanuma. So such things have been embedded here. So this is with that veneration, admiration, and with that devotion and sincerity, one has to look at his kirtanas. So now, in the interest of time, I have picked up 5 themes to look at. So we will start about the very hill itself, the Tirumala hill. We'll see one kirtana that Annamaya has written on Seshachala Parvata. And second, we'll see the very Swami, the Venkateswara Swami sitting on the hill. We'll see one kirtana on him. And then we will see for all the sevas that happen in Tirumala, he has written hundreds of kirtanas on them. So we'll start with morning Suprabhata Seva, one kirtana on that. And another seva we would consider is Unjal Seva. Even one do not get the special darshan ticket or any ticket, one can go and have darshan of the Swami, Malayappa Swami, who comes out there for Unjal Seva at this time of sunset. So we'll go through one kirtana on that. And also let us see about the profoundness of the tattva that is there, one Adhyatmika kirtana. So this is what we are going to see. In the interest of time, we'll sample 5 kirtanas quickly. First thing, again, just to say how many kirtanas he has written are numerous, hundreds and hundreds of kirtanas are there on Seshachala, saying it is like, for example, a prime minister is coming to Tirumala, let's say, and camping there for 1 week. What will happen is, every ministry portfolio person will come to Tirumala first, ensure the things are in place, and along with him, there will be people in Tirupati, Tirumala, and all around people who have certain things, need the help of the Prime Minister. They all also will come there. So even if he is coming for 1 week, if that is the case, now the Lord from Vaikuntha coming down and being there in the Kali Yuga and for all the yugas from there onwards on Seshachala Parvata. So the very seat of him on which he rests, the Seshachala, has become the Seshachala Parvata. So Adivo Alladivo Sri Harivasamu Padivela Seshula Padagala Mayamu. That is how he says about this Parvata. And who all have come, another wonderful kirtana on it is Kattedura Vaikunthamu. Let's try to see what the meanings of it to some extent quickly. Let's see what it says. And maybe these kind of looking at things will help us when we visit Tirumala next time. How to look at this Parvata? Why, in what perspective should we see it? How to see the Lord? These all will give, if we are able to see even in Amsa of what Annamaya has given us, will be great. So here in this he would say, Kattedura Vaikuntamu Kana Chaina Konda, Tittalaya Mahimale Tirumala Konda. So all the divine qualities, Kattedura Vaikuntamu. So the Vaikunta is now just before us, and all divine Mahimas of him have become solidified, and that is what appearing before us as this Tirumala hill. And what are the rocks here in Tirumala? Vedamule Silalai Velisinadi Konda. Every Sila here is the Vedas here. That means the meaning of Vedas have transformed in them as the Silas here. Yedasa Punyarasule Yerulainadi Konda. Whatever is the streams flowing in Tirumala, they are all the Punyarasis are flowing there as streams. Gadili Brahmadi Lokamula Konala Konda. It is the epitome of all lokas, is right now there before us as this Seshachala Parvata. Brahmadi Lokamulu Konala Konda. It is the epic of it, or extreme of it, or the highest of the highest, higher than the highest. And Sri Devudundeti Seshadri E Konda. And who are all seated here? As we said, the all portfolios will come down. Seshachala, the Lord has already come. Sarvadevatalu Mrugajatulai Charinche Konda. And whatever animals roaming around there, And you notice that he could, this is not the imagination, this is not the poetic creativity he has come up with, this is what he had the darshan of. So what he says is, sarva devatalu mrugajatulai cherinche konda. All devatas are roaming here on this hill as animals. So this is how one should see when he sees the animals there. And నిర్వహించి జలధులే నిట్టచెరులైన కొండ, and all tirthas are flowing as streams here on this mountain, whichever. And nicely even there, if you notice in Tirumala, wherever there is a water tap, they write a title, if anyone by any chance, they write it as Jala Prasada. Okay, so that's a very, very important thing to notice. All tirthas are flowing here as streams that are there on the earth, are all there in its subtle form in Tirumala. Urvi tapasule taruvulai nilachina konda. Those who are doing tapasyas have taken the form of trees so that people like us won't disturb them, and they wanted to do their penance on Tirumala hill. And whichever tree we see there, they are all the ones, the tapasya, those who are doing tapasyas there. Purvapu Anjanadri ee podavati konda. So this is the Anjanadri where the Lord Hanuma has taken birth here. Varamulu kotaruga vakkaninchi penche konda. There is no boon that one cannot get on this one. So this is such konda. Paragu Lakshmi Kantu Sobanapu konda. This is a favorite hill for the Lord Venkateshwara. Kurisi Sampadalella Guhala Nindina konda. So all wealth has flown and even filled the caves of this mountain. And Virivaina Didivo Sri Venkatapu konda. So he has this is just one kirtana we are looking at. There are hundreds of kirtanas, there is no exaggeration in that. And that is how this mountain is. And he acts as a guide if we are ready to look into what he says on how to see this mountain. And let's move on to the another aspect, the very Lord himself. Again, there is no end to number of kirtanas he has written describing the Lord, starting from physically how he appears, how are his ayudhas, and so on and so forth. And let's see on how the Lord is taking care of us, how he said in his kirtanas. Let's pick one kirtana. Podaganti Mayamimmu Purushottama. So this is what we'll have a look at that. So he says, Podaganti Mayamimmu Purushottama Mammu Nedayakavaya Koneti Rayada. So we got a glimpse of you, Podaganti Mayaninnu Purushottama, and don't leave us, don't forsake us, be with us. And how he is taking care, he says there, Kori mammu nelinatti kuladaivama. Usually when a great person is there, we have to do all kind of lobbies to get his attention. But Lord is not like that. He, on his own desire, has become, he decided that I will take care of you, and became the family deity. So Kori mammu nelinatti kuladaivama. Chala nerichi peddalichina nidhanama. And after learning the ancestors, all the elderly people, wisdom people, rishis have learned that this is the best resort to whom we can surrender to. And that happens to be Venkateswara. So chala nerichi, after learning a lot, పెద్దలిచ్చిన నిధానమా. నిధానమా మీన్స్ నిధి. దిస్ ఈస్ ద నిధి దట్ వీ హ్యావ్. గారవించి దప్పిదీర్చు కాలమేఘమా. అండ్ that which quenches our thirst. And even any word of Annamaya in his kirtanas are irreplaceable. Because look at this, he says not just Meghama is cloud, he says Kala Meghama, that is the black cloud. Black cloud signifies where it is full of water. So he is there to quench the thirst to the fullest and has water beyond the thirst. And again he also says not just quenching the thirst. You could do, somebody might come to us, bugging us. We may just give him to get rid of him, and we show that kind of supremacy over him. But he quenches our thirst, which means get us rid of the difficulties we have and gives us boons. But garavinchi dappi tirchu kalamegama. He does that by garavinchi, means he is also Gaurava, giving us as if he is in need of serving us, not the other way around. So you could see these words that every word is irreplaceable in any of his kirtana. So he says garavinchi means giving him adarana, ఆదరించి గారవించి దప్పిదీర్చు కాలమేఘమ చేరువ చిత్తములోని శ్రీనివాసుడ. హీ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఫార్ అవే, హీ ఈజ్ దేర్ ఇన్ ద హార్ట్ ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్. చేరువ చిత్తములోని శ్రీనివాసుడ, భావింప గైవసమైన పారిజాతమా, మమ్ము చేవదేర గాచినట్టి చింతామణి, కావించి కోరికలిచ్చే కామధేనువా, మమ్ము తావై రక్షించేటి ధరణీధర. So all Chintamani that we hear about, Parijata Vriksha we hear about, Kamadhenu we hear about, all are in his forms. They give the boons that are asked for. He gives the boons beyond that as well, even without asking. And the very path on which we are treading, that very path itself, he becomes that path, or indeed he is the path. Chadanika bratikinchu siddhamantrama. And he is the one that his very name is the Siddha Mantra, which ensures that we will not get lost or spoiled his very name. So Chadanika Bratikinchu Siddha Mantrama, Roga Ladachi Rakshinche Divyaushadama. Physical ailments and Bhavaroga, for everything he is the Divyaushadha. Roga Ladachi Rakshinche Divyaushadama, Badibayaka Tirige Pranabandhuda. The one who is there as swasa within us, inhale the very vayu in us, he not leaving us and be with us, and hence we are here. So badibayaka tirige pranabandhuda mammu gadayinchinetti Shri Venkatanathuda podagantimayya ninnu purushottama. So this is the way he sees it all around him, in him, outside him, everywhere, and taking the protection and giving that protection with utmost care and attention. Okay. And with that, now TTD has Udayastamana Sevas, would cost us tens of lakhs of rupees to get that, and that is given for free, guided tour by Annamaya. If one is interested, each seva, one could collect all kirtanas that is there and have the kirtana where Annamaya sits next to us and guides to us on how we have to look at it. So we will see again, in the interest of time, two sevas, Suprabhata Seva and Unjal Seva. And again, on Suprabhata Seva itself, there are tens or hundreds of kirtanas he has written. So every day, everyone can experience in a different way that particular seva and see the Lord in different ways. And this one is Vinnapalu Vinavale Vinta Vintalu, Pannagapu Domatera Paiketta Velaya. So we have come with petitions, pleas of Vinta Vintalu. Very strange, wondrous. Once we look back itself, we see what kind of things we are coming, and each one of us will come with our own set of things. So why should he wake up now? Vinnapalu Vinavale Vinta Vintalu, Pannagapu Domatera Paiketta Velaya. He is there sleeping on Sesha. So that itself is his mosquito curtain, Domatera. So please get rid of that and listen to our please. We are here. And all Puranas, Vishnu Purana and everything says that Suprabhata Seva, it is not just humans that come. Starting from Brahma, all people come to have his darshan of it. And in fact, from this Kirtana, we see that darshan Annamaya had it. So he is saying here, Tellavare Jamekke Devatalu Munulu, Alla Nalla Nantaninta Nadivo Vare, Challani Tammirekula Sarasapu Gannulu, Mella Mellane Vichi Melukonavevaya. The Brahma Muhurta has happened, who had all come here. Devatas and Munis have come here waiting for your darshan. And your your lotus-like eyes, please open them and give us a chance and put your glimpse upon us. And it's not just devatas and munis that are coming here. Garuda kinnara yaksha kaminulu gamulai విరహపు గీతముల వింతాలాపముల పరిపరి విధముల పాడేరు నిన్నదివో సిరిమొగము తెరచి చిత్తగించవేలయ్య. So he says, Garuda, Kinnara, Yaksha, Gandharva, all these entities that are there in this creation are also coming at this Brahma Muhurta to have his darshan. And obviously their Sangeeta looks somewhat strange to his, and their kirtanas, if one could hear, perhaps sounds strange to us. So he is also saying there, on one side, one could get the feel of it, they are Virahapu Geetamulu, they could not see him from last night. And Vintalapamulu, those alapas would be a little bit strange to us as well. So he is saying Virahapu Geetamula, Vintalapamula, in multiple ways, different ways, they are waiting for your darshan, they are, so please wake up and give darshan there. Pankapu Seshadulu Tumbura Naradadulu, పంకజ భవాదులు నీపాదాలు చేరి అంకెలనున్నారు లేచి అలమేలు మంగను వెంకటేశుడా రెప్పలు విచ్చి చూచి లేవయ్య. So Sesha is there while he is sleeping on Sesha. In another form, Sesha is also waiting there to have his darshan. Tumbura Naradadulu, Tumbura Narada, Pankaja Bhavadulu, the Brahma himself, that also say they put the tirtha at the night, and they say that that has been sanctified by Brahma, has taken that, and the next day is given as tirtha to all. These are all just for us, is what is told, but he is the one perhaps having that vision as well. So they are all waiting for you, so please wake up. And once you wake up anyway, Swami's consort Lakshmi is next to him, so first see his face. Okay, we all go with complaints, perhaps she is the only one there without complaints, and so see her face and wake up, and see her face. Okay, so that's the Suprabhata Seva. Again, there are so many different perspectives of Suprabhata Seva. He has written it. So in the interest of time, we will go another one as Unjal Seva. So where Swami with his consorts will be swinging on the swing. Okay, so here this is another thing. Typically kirtanas, and when these sevas are done, one impression would be, what is there in it? God is everywhere. We are now restricting, and we are putting them here, and these fellows are under the limited understanding that God is there in murtis. But look at how he does the avishkara of Sri Vishnu in this Unjal Seva, in this kirtana. So this is Alara Chenchalamaina Atmalandunda Ni Kalavatu Cheseni Uyala. So why this starts with answering the question, why is he perhaps undergoing this Unjal Seva? Because he has to stay within our hearts and minds, which are wavering. So he should get practice, warm up for doing this. So Alara Chenchalamaina Atmalandunda Ni Kalavatu Cheseni Viyala. Perhaps you got used to stay in our hearts thanks to this Unjal Seva. పలుమారు నుచ్ఛ్వాస పవనములందుండ నీ భావంబు తెలిపెని వియ్యాల. And why is he there in our swasa, which goes out, comes in, goes out 10 to 20 times a minute? So perhaps maybe he is liking this Unjal Seva also, and maybe he is there as swasa in us. Perhaps that is the bhava why he is like this. And then this is where we see him, these small things, the murtis being there in that Unjal. But then he gives us a cosmic form of him, which is spread like the entire universe. That form of him, like Visva Rupa, we could see here. So what is actually his swing? So he says here, Udayasta Sailambu Lonara Kambamulaina Udumandalamu Moche Nuyala. For him, a mountain on the east and a mountain on the west, that means that which is covering the entire earth. So those Udayasta Sailambu, those are the pillars on which the Unjal will be placed. ఉదయాస్త శైలంబు లొనర కంబములైన ఉడుమండలము. ఉడుమండల మీన్స్ నక్షత్ర మండల. ది ఎంటైర్ నక్షత్ర మండల became the horizontal beam there. ఉదయాస్త శైలంబు లొనర కంబములైన, that is what is taking the load of this unjal. Okay, well, now we got two beams, vertical beams there, this one is there. Now what else is required for a unjal? We need the chains to hold it and a base to make them sit. So what are those chains that he says here? పదిలముగ వేదములు బంగారు చేరులై పట్టవెరపై తోచెనుయ్యాల. When you are swinging, I feel that all four Vedas have become, because the unjal will have the four chains. The four Vedas have become the four chains of this. And what is it that holds Lord? And where he is there is, he tells in the last thing, వదలకిటు ధర్మదేవత పీఠమై మిగుల వర్ణింప నరుదాయ నుయ్యాల. What is it that is sticking to him without leaving him is Dharmadevata. And on which he is sitting is verily the Dharmadevata. Vadalakitu Dharmadevata పీఠమై మిగుల వర్ణింప నరుదాయ నుయ్యాల. Then he also gives the form we see in a small form, and now he also gives a description of the bigger form, where he says, మేలుకట్లై మీకు మేఘమండలమెల్ల మెరుగునకు మెరుగాయ నుయ్యాల. The meghas which are there in the same color as his body looks like the garments which are adorning him and beautifying him further. That means he has now the rupa which spread from the earth to the akasha. నీల శైలము వంటి నీమేని కాంతికి నిజమైన తొడవాయ నుయ్యాల. They seems to be the right attire for you. And పాలిండ్లు కదలగా పయ్యదలు రాపాడ భామినులు వడినూపు నుయ్యాల. Then again from that cosmic plane, now he again brings us to the plane where this swing has been moved from one side to the other, where these women are making that move here and there. They are feeling like when the Lord goes to the other end, because all the Brahmandas are there in his udara, they might kind of tilt. With that fear, they are not pushing him too much. So that's the darshan that he gives. ఓలి బ్రహ్మాండములు ఒరుగునోయను భీతి నొయ్య నొయ్యన నూపి రుయ్యాల. That's how that is going on. And it's still not the end of it. Now, కమలకును భూసతికిని కదలు కదలకు మిమ్ము కౌగలింపగ చేసె నుయ్యాల. Because of such the grandeur thing going on, and Sri Devi and Bhudevi, his two consorts next to them, are holding him tight with this going in that high speed. So for every moment they are holding him tight. అమరాంగనలకు నీ హావభావ విలాసమందందె జూపెని ఉయ్యాల. All divinely people, all devatas and devata stris, they never had a glimpse of seeing all three together. So for them, they have given this divine glimpse of mothers sitting with the father, and their expressions and their havabhavas. కమలాసనాదులకు కన్నులకు పండుగై గణుతింప నరుదాయ నుయ్యాల. So Kamalasana, Brahmadi, all devatas are sitting there, and this is the rare event even for them to watch, and it cannot be expressed, it cannot be quantified, the joy of seeing all this thing. కమనీయమూర్తి వెంకట శైలపతి నీకు కడువేడుకయ్యుండే నుయ్యాల. You are the one who are enjoying this whole play. This has become a nice play to you. So this is how, which apparently looks like what is there in this seva of putting the murtis there and moving there. This is the big cosmic picture that Annamaya gives. So with that, in the interest of time, we'll again move to one Ajhatmika Tattva also of what Annamaya gives us. Again, as Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and other sons also says, there could be different paths, but once that is attained, what they see, what is attained at the end of it remains the same. So while he has been initiated into Vaishnavism, in his kirtanas, it can be clearly seen that he is beyond any, he is not restricted to one path. All paths are equally good as long as they lead to the ultimate thing.
So this Kirtana says, ఎంత మాత్రమున ఎవ్వరు తలచిన అంత మాత్రమే నీవు అంతరాంతరములు ఎంచి చూడ పిండంతే నిప్పటి అన్నట్లు. How much ever duff we have, so much only the thick of the cake that we make. So what is the measure to you? ఎంత మాత్రమున ఎవ్వరు తలచిన, whatever much we can comprehend, you are that much only. Just like as much duff we have with us, that much will be the size of the roti we could make. కొలతురు మిము వైష్ణవులు కూరిమితో విష్ణుడని, పలుకుదురు మిము వేదాంతులు పరబ్రహ్మమనుచో, తలతురు మిము శైవులు తగిన భక్తులును శివుడనుచో, అలరి పొగడుదురు కాపాలికులు ఆదిభైరవుడనుచో. సో వైష్ణవాస్ worship him as the very Vishnu, and Vedanta, those who follow the Vedanta non-dual thing, Advaita, they say he is Parabrahma. And Saivas worship him as Shiva. And in fact, all these worships have happened on the Tirumala hill over periods of time. It's not like after Ramanujacharya has come, this has been, there has been a standardization of how the worship has been done, but you would see there also all these traditions worshipping even the Lord that is there on the hill. And Kapalikas, they consider him as Adi Bhairava. సరినెన్నుచో సాక్తేయులు శక్తిరూపు నీవనుచో, దర్శనముల మిము నానావిధముల తలపుల కొలదురు భజింతురు, సిరుల మిమ్మునే అల్పబుద్ధి తలంచిన వారికి అల్పంబౌదువు, గరిమల మిముసే ఘనుడని తలచిన వాడికి ఘనబుద్ధులగుదువు. So Shakteyas, they worship him as the very Shakti, and based on different darshanas in their own forms, they worship him. And whoever thinks little of you, you appear as if you are that much only. Okay? And whichever the grandeur scale that one could think of, he appears at that grandeur scale. నీ వలన కొరత లేదు మరి నీరు కొలది తామరవు. So there is no deprival because of you have some limitation. It is like once, this is also a beautiful way of comparing this. When we see different points of different depth, when the lotus grows in it, it will never grow beyond the water level. It is only at the water level. So not because the lotus cannot grow beyond that, as much is the water, so much is the length, so is as much as one's comprehension and openness, so much is what you appear to them. Avala bhagiradi dari baula ajalame ఊరినట్లు. When the Ganges is there in Kashi, Ganga is there in Kashi, if one digs their own well, what water springs in it is after all the Ganga that is coming here. But we assume that this is our well and this is our water. But in whichever form one worships him, there is only one thing, that is Bhagirathi, and that is you. Shri Venkatapati నీవైతే మేము చేకుని ఉన్న దైవమని ఈవలని శరణమనియు ఇది ఏ పరతత్వము నాకు. It's all right, you have to tell different schools of thought will worship you in different ways, but what is it to Annamaya? Sri Venkateshwara is, what is it to him? He says he is the Paratattva, that which manifested into everything, before manifestation, after manifestation, end of manifestation as well. That which exists is the Paratattva, is to Annamaya. So it is not just like on one side these Unjal Sevas and other things may, while they are profound as we have seen them, even in terms of the spiritual profoundness of these all the scriptures one could see in his Kirtanas. So well, as I just wanted to outline few those for the sake of their sadhana, or those who want to work on it for their research. There are n possible number of ways. Again, in Telugu, Brahmasri Samavedan Shanmukha Sarma Garu, he has given pravachanas on Annamaya Kirtanas for 1 year. It has come in ETV long back, and in that many of these points I made a note here showing here are primarily based on what I come to know from his pravachanas there. So what he says, for example, again, the first one is based on what I have seen in another important person that we will see shortly, Veturi Prabhakara Sastri garu. The way he has written forward, one could see that the life sketch of Annamaya can be brought out from his very Kirtanas itself. That's what he has done in the foreword of Tirumala Charitamritam that we have seen. And then we have not even had a taste of how he has worshipped Alarmail Manga. So that's another one. One could kind of cluster all Kirtanas of Alarmail Manga and see. And then Narasimha Swami, his next favorite god, if we may say so. That also we have not seen any Kirtana on that. And again, Hanuma. Again, Shanmukha Sarma Garu mentions that unless one understands Parasara Samhita, one could not really understand some of the Kirtanas on Hanuma that were written by Annamacharya. And then, in fact, it has been documented that Annamaya has written Ramayana, but however, that Ramayana Dvipada Kavya is no more available for us. But nevertheless, he has written so many kirtanas on Sri Rama, and he says that if one clusters them in a appropriate order, you could see the Ramayana given by Annamaya. And then similar is the Balakrishna, starting from his birth till the Bhagavad Gita. He has given the entire numerous, so when we say many, nothing less than few hundreds, and could go even to thousands. So those many kirtanas are available. And then Bhagavad Gita, so Annamaya's Bhagavad Gita, that's what he says that if one clusters them, enough kirtanas to give the meaning of entire Bhagavad Gita. And then another great book that he has written is Sankirtana Lakshanalu. Lakshanas. This is the book written by Annamaya in Sanskrit, which is no more available. However, in Telugu, this has been written, or the other way around, we'll see shortly, has been written by his grandson is there. Then again, this is from more of a bhakti point of view. Other things are influence, importance, relevance of works of Annamaya, and then each seva, each Brahmotsava seva, each Naivedya that is given to him, and all these things one can cluster and get immersed in that. So these are few possible things. So we'll come to the last leg. I know this is time for lunch, so we'll quickly wind it up, but hopefully you will find it slightly different from what we discussed so far, more of a kind of an exciting thing a bit. So this is about rediscovered legacy, which I feel like has been under-noticed and not much highlighted as much as it should get attention to. As you could see, all these kirtanas are written in 1400s and up to 1500, very beginning of 1500. It's not like what we see right now were there. There is a 5 centuries of almost we could say a sleep or a slumber, where barring few available here and there, other than that we don't have in this magnitude. So we'll see what really happened. Again, I give you here references to some of the wonderful books which helped me actually to realize about these things. These books are by Sri P.V.R.K. Prasad Garu. He was, maybe some of you might be knowing him. He has been an executive that EO in 1978, and he has his contributions to what we see in Tirumala right now are immense. So my favorite books of him written, while there are few other books also, is one is Sarvasambhavam with the subtitle Naham Karta Harihi Karta. So this is where we would see some, particularly in the interest of time, we are not going to go through that, but MS Subbalakshmi, Amma, whatever we see in getting those Balaji Pancharatna Kirtanas, the events happened, one couldn't get there. And another book is Tirumala Charitamritam. He felt the need that over the period we forget things, they will go unnoticed over a period of time. So he documented that. So Tirumala Charitamritam is another book where we will come to know about Sri Rarlapalli Anantakrishna Sarma Garu, about whom we will see shortly. And again, there is an English translation of the Sarvasambhavam book I think the book name is When I See Tirupati Balaji. These are the books are published by MSCO Publishers, and wonderful books. And barring even about these Kirtanas in general, also Sarvasambhavam is one of my all-time favorite books. So if you get a chance, do go through that. And before we go further, just wanted to give a glimpse of the literature that has been given by Annamaya. The Kirtanas, they say they have written is close to 32,000 Kirtanas. What that are available on copper plates right now are close to 14,000 Kirtanas. And then he has another written Dvipada Kavyamu by name Sringara Manjari, and this is available. You can find whichever I have mentioned here are available, are there on the TTD website. And then he has written 12 Satakas. Out of that, only one perhaps is available right now, which is Venkateshwara Mangambika Shatakam. This is the first Shataka perhaps he has written, and written in no time, that it just flowed through him. So this is available. And he has written a Sanskrit book on Venkatachala Mahatmyam, which is currently not available. And as we discussed earlier, he has in fact written in Telugu Ramayanam at Dvipada Kavyam. This is also not available. And in Sanskrit, he has written Sankirtana Lakshanamu. Later, this book has been translated by Chinnanna in Telugu. That book is available. But the Sankirtana Lakshanamu is not available right now. So, coming to the song treasury, and slightly in a lighter way, we could go through the rest of the presentation. Is what happened really is, again, we are indebted to the people we are going to see the names here. We are very much indebted to what we know right now about Annamaya. And one first person that comes in this list is Sri Sadhu Subrahmanya Sastri. So he was the one who decodes these inscriptions and all. So let me first show his picture first. He is referred to as epigraphist. So he was there. So he was going through these inscriptions. The language of Telugu that we see there is very different. You can observe it when we are going through the lines in Tirumala. You see them on the walls. This is not exactly that inscription, but I have put something that so that we will get a glimpse of how it is. And there he had come across an important thing, that there is something called as Annamaya Sankirtana Bhandagaram. The storehouse of Annamaya Kirtanas is there. But why did we last? This is not known till 1922 to us, because that was earlier. These have been stored by around the 1500s, the beginning of 1500s. They have been engraved on that. Then, if we see the history, East India Company took control of the TTD as well. That time it was not called TTD, something, the Tirumala, the entire of that over a period of 1800 to 1831. Till then, there are many rituals that people do. For that, they would be giving money, and you may call it as sponsoring those rituals, Naivedyas and all. That is done. But this time, they have already given, and it is supposed to, it is like Jivita Chanda we pay, and it will come till the end. But all of a sudden, they have been all stopped. So it is during that time, what happened is, all things have been stopped, and that break was enough for us to last precedent of many things. Till then, the inscriptions he has come across in 1530 says that there is an Annamaya Bhandagara. While the Murti is taken around the temple, it is at that Naivedya of Atirasa, which is in Telugu called as Arisalu. They have been offered there, and has been, for that have been sponsored by Peda Tirumalacharya or Chinnanna perhaps. So he has seen it, and this nobody knows that these Kirtanas are there in it. So thanks to Sri Sadhu Subrahmanya Sastri, even learning them and decoding them is a humongous task. The Telugu lipi we cannot understand. Even Telugu right now, none of us can understand despite knowing Telugu aksharas there. He learned those things. You have to see in chronology how Telugu lipi has got under the evolutions has gone. So he has learned that, he decoded that, and he found that there is one thing. So, well, before that, the history tells, once again, if you look into the history, there were two close attempts that were made where people suspected that there is something. So this is again after, I am saying after 1500 thing. So one thing happened in 1860, I think it is Brunton or somebody, where they felt that there is some in Telugu grammar books are perhaps there on the hill, they were saying. They opened and they could not even decipher what it is, and they felt definitely this is not Telugu grammar book, something else, so they left it. And then an English archaeologist in 1915 again has opened that, and they thought it is some spiritual things, but no clue, and it is closed. And this, I'm sure, all of you could recollect this from Tirumala Hill. It is the Hundi, when you are there at Hundi, finished your darshan and coming, just if you are there, on the left hand side of it, even this picture you will find out, which is Annamacharya Bhandagaramu, the storehouse of all Annamacharya Kirtanas. He saw it, from the inscriptions that he has decoded, he saw that there should be something here stored. The Chinnanna mentioned, all that it was mentioned is there. There is Annamaya Bhanda, there was no board that time. Oh? There is only, it is there to the wall almost like a window that we have. So he insisted that let us open it and see what it is there. All the earlier history I told came in retrospect. It's not like they were suspecting there is something there. And you could in fact see these copper plates if you get time when you go to Tirumala. In the north gate, once you go there, you can go to the museum there. All these copper plates are stored there. If you have 2 hours, good enough, you can see these copper plates there. This is how they would look like. If you zoom in and see even Telugu script, many letters, we could hardly do anything there. So these are the copper inscriptions, and to the surprise, these are 3,000 such copper plates have been found. And on each side you could see, whichever circle you see here, that is end of one Kirtana and second Kirtana starting from there. There even classification is also given. Is it a Shrangara Kirtana or Adhyatmika Kirtana is given. The Raga is also given, except that the Swarasthanas are not there. So all these things were given. These are, you could see this being written on either sides, on both sides of it. Overall, there are, so this is again at Indian Institute of Science, SERC department has earlier digitized all these things, one of the labs there. And from here to getting here as an engineering task is not so trivial, but now we do have all these digital copies of these 15,000 Sankirtanas, 3,000 copper plates left both on front and back. And again, this is what at that time the kings followed. In Telugu, they call it as Bandarekulu. Banda means very big, you could consider it as. What they used to do is, all nearby temples, this is almost like 6 feet height, and they used to carry it on their shoulders. It's very heavy. One cannot lift it like that. Nowadays, even 2 of us cannot lift it. And they put it on a log kind of thing in between. So this is not as small as you look there. Something can go inside with which 2 people hold it, and this is what the Devasthanam used to donate to all nearby temples where all these kirtanas are given. This is apart from the copper plates that we have seen there. And what he has done, you could say, is a Herculean effort of Sri Sadhu Subrahmanyam Sastri Garu, and he has many of the kirtanas, he decoded the language, he has wrote them, and it has become 3 iron boxes, full teakwood boxes, not iron boxes, teakwood boxes full of these kirtana papers. This was what he has done. And once this has done, this that epigraphy or whatever is there, it has moved then to Adayar. Their office has moved, main office has moved to Adayar. So all these teakwood boxes have been moved there. And we have very constrained resources. Another important tasks are there to make the crown for the Lord Venkateshwara at that time. He has been assigned to this. There is no one else. So that job has been given to him. And these have moved to Adayar. And people there is some quiet time. People thought that these are all useless papers. This he has done, I don't know, maybe decades, and learning that and do it. And everybody thought, what is written here? Some fellow would have written, they have no clue of it. And all of them are burnt. His tens of years of work has been just simply burned down. Okay, in Adayar, once this office has been moved there. He worked for 20 or 30 years, I don't know. And he happened to write 3 books based on those things he has written. They went unpublished, okay, at that point of time. And September 10th, 1981, Vamana Jayanti, he left his body. The books saw the light at the end of the tunnel on September 26, 1981. So he wanted to publish even on his own, didn't they? He was not allowed perhaps, and they did not publish. And again, this is the time when PVRK Prasad Garu pushed for publishing it, knowing about these things. They could, however, 1978 he came, and by the time they got published, September 26, 1981, these are all burned down on September 10th, 1981. He left his body on that. So, okay, you could still call it as a bittersweet publication. Still the books are there, that is sweet. Better thing is, he's not there to see in person. So then, the great contribution of Sri Veturi Prabhakara Sastri Garu. And he's a great yogi as well. Don't know how many books he has written. Even they say that unless he has been a yogi, even to decode some of the terms which were not clearly there is not possible. So with his yogasthiti and his high level of state, this started from square one again. So he has done it. And after this, Sri Rallapalli Ananta Krishna Sarmagar, he has done many of this thing. Then after him, this task has been completed almost for all kirtanas available by Sri Rallapalli Ananta Krishna Sarma. Okay, and again it is around the time of if you go through the Tirumala Charitamrutam book, there is a one chapter, not in Tirumala, in the book of Sarvasambhavam, you will find one chapter about Rallapalli Ananta Krishna Sarma Garu. While he could not get his due recognition of what he has done, nobody even recognized the importance of the work he has done. And all of us, and there were many projects of Annamacharya project started around 1980s, but nowhere his name is there. Nobody is aware that he has done such a great task, and that kept on bugging him. And he was there in Bangalore itself at his children's house, bedridden. And when he was about to come to here for some work, one of them, I think Gauripeddi Ramasarma Garu, there was someone who told that since you are doing Annamacharya project, he is the one of the key pillars who did this writing. It is not just copying, you should understand the script, and you have to have, it's a very huge process, okay? And you go and visit him, and from inside there is a stimulant from him that he should be given TTD Asthana Vidwan. And he has made that golden dollar, this certificate and everything in just that overnight. After 8, he called at 12 o'clock to his people and asked them to do it. Next day he went. He has stopped talking. He could not speak for already many months. He was just bedridden. And then his son told that so-and-so EO has come from Tirumal Tirupati Devasthanam, put them in his hands. People are not sure whether he is able to hear or not, but slowly what the murmurs they could hear is, oh, you got daya on me after so long time. This is what he uttered, and tears were dropping in his eyes. And after that, he quietly left. And in next 3-4 hours, he left his body. So these are all people for the wealth, the treasure that we have, we should be grateful to. Again, this list is many more. In the interest of time, we are just looking at 2 people. And not just that, one is translating that and getting them. Another is only what raga is given, but swarasthanas, how to sing them, nobody knows. And each one you could, YouTube, if you understand Telugu, or these days you could use Gen AI tools to convert into whichever language. The interviews, we are fortunate to have the interviews of Sri Nedunuri Krishnamurti Garu. Watch them, beautiful. He tells about, he initially thought what Annamaya, Tyagaraj, because he is from traditional Sangeeta where Sishya, Prasishya Parampara is there for Tyagaya. He thought there were some folklore in the beginning. He says later, once he started going through it to compose the music, has realized the importance, and he said, he just prostrated to Annamaya. So, get a chance, if you get a chance, go through it. Another great stalwart who has recently left his body, I guess maybe this year itself, is Sri Garimella Balakrishna Prasad Garu. Thousands of kirtanas. It is not just singing, it is composing. It's not at all easy. Tyagaya and other all people who standardized how Sangeeta should be and frameworks have been given, all of them, including Ramadasu, have come after Annamaya. He is even before him. So giving that is not a trivial task, and that has been done by Sri Garimella Balakrishna Prasad Garu. And if you get a chance in Tirumala Charitamritam, or in Sarvasambhavam itself, one topic about M.S. Subbulakshmi Garu is there, another narrative is there about it. It's again is a wonderful thing to know. Leave it in the interest of time. So, okay. So with that, let's do some math as well. There are 3,000 copper plates were there. Total kirtanas are 16,582. Out of them, 14,400 are by Annamacharya. His son Peda Tirumalacharya 1062, Chinna Tirumalacharya 1120. Very authentic kirtanas we have from 1500s and 20th century, and after that are the fortunate centuries to have these Annamacharya kirtanas in that style. And again, Chinna Tirumalacharya, in the book I was referring to, mentions that there are 32,000 kirtanas written by that, but whatever is accessible is still 16,582. Just see how much effort at that time the kings have kept to engrave these things on copper plates and store them, let's say, for eternity. So total copper plates, a rough calculation, even you look at it, is like a 3,000 copper plates are there. Each one, for example, A4 sheet, if you consider as what you could write one kirtana, you could consider that as an A3 sheet. And once you hold them, you could see that it weighs at least around 4 kilos. So that means 3,000 copper plates into 4 kgs is 12,000 kgs of copper has gone into it, which means 12 tons of copper has been invested by the time the kings realizing the importance of these kirtanas. So current day cost copper, you would put 1,000 per 1 kg. Just the raw material is 1.2 crores in the current time. And definitely then not everyone can come and write on that. And writing those many and proofreading, correcting and all those things, at least 10 to 20 times will be easily. It's like buying a book versus writing and publishing it, the whole thing. So if you keep something like 10 to 20 crores in the current day thing, what the kings have realized the importance and invested could be in the current day terms around 20 crores. Okay, that's a big number. Right. So again, this is not just documentation. We should not see it from the commercial angle. It was massive historical project, can be seen as backed up by immense devotion, resources, and craftsmanship. This is how we should look at it. And well, let's also see about how many kirtanas he has taken a pratigna that he will take it from the 16th year. He has taken an oath after he had the darshan of Sri Vishnu, Venkateswara, that he'll write 1 kirtana a day. So started composing at age of 16. Total compositions was clearly mentioned by Chinnanna as 32,000. Consider 80 years of lifespan. That's what happened to come across few stanzas in what Chinnanna has written, where he clearly gives about the astrological chart of Annamaya, where he says 3 of the planets are in exaltation, and he also mentions there Visakha is his nakshatra, and keeping them and connecting the dots with what we see on copper plates. Again I see it's not that they could not do earlier. It's not that they realized this earlier to do the cross-checking, but nowadays we have all these tools of doing astrological calculations and like getting the horoscope there. So that was not possible manually earlier. That's how I see why Veturi Prabhakar Sastri Garu and others would not have done it. But based on that, it looks like for me they are exactly matching with if we see 1424. So consider that as 1424. So as many people say, his age is not 96 years. It looks from this. Even Veturi Prabhakar Sastri Garu tells it as 1424. The latter 2 people who has come thought that it should be from that. As I said, there is a punctuation missing in the copper plates. It can be interpreted as either this or that. Whether the date given is the date when Venkateswara appeared to him, or is it the date when he was born? This was the confusion because of a punctuation mark there. So yeah, based on that, it looks like 1424. I skipped that part in the intro. Already we are running out of time. So if someone is interested, we can discuss offline. So from that, if you take 64 years, that means into 365, 23,360. That means 1.4 Kirtana a day he has written. Even consider 96 years. Even then, again, he started writing, he has taken oath at 16th year. So 80 years, 29,200, 32,000 Kirtanas. So that's what you could see. This is not a normal number where one Kirtana a day is written for his whole life. Okay? So, and again, we all keep cribbing, we lost those things. Okay? And now still 15,000 Kirtanas are there, we forget about that. After writing all these things, we'll end up this by referring to one of the Kirtanas that he has written. Dachuko ni padalaku tagani chesina pujalivi pujalivi puchi ni kiriti pushpamulivi ayya. So he says that these are the flowers of glory. These Kirtanas are the flowers of your glory that I am offering to it. Keep them in your storehouse. That's the Bhandagaram he is saying. ఒక్క కీర్తనే చాలు ఒద్దికై మమ్ము రక్షింప. ఓకే, 32,000 కీర్తనాస్ ఆర్ దేర్. వెన్ షుడ్ ఐ రీడ్, వాట్ షుడ్ ఐ డూ? నో, ఒక్క కీర్తనే చాలు. వన్ ఈజ్ ఎనఫ్. ఒద్దికై మమ్ము రక్షింప. టు transcend us from all these worldly barriers. If one focuses on one kirtana, that is enough. So then the obvious question should be, what should we do with the rest of the kirtanas? He says, takkinavi bhandarana dachuko undani. Keep them in your bhandagara. That means it also tells us the bhandagara was there at the time of Annamaya itself. This whole thing was there. And again, even the rest of the things, how these kirtanas have come. And this is not what I do out of my this thing. This just flowed through me and all the rest of the things he would be saying in the kirtana. So I leave it in the interest of time. Later in the YouTube video, you can stop and see the English translation or Telugu one if you want. Okay. So this is where we say he has written all of them. Offer to him, keep it in your thing. If one has to come out of this bondage or whatever, so-called whatever we call it, one kirtana is good enough. So again, I would like to acknowledge all the sources. There are many sources not possible to acknowledge here, but Tirumala history books written by P.V.R.K. Prasad Garu and Sri Samvedan Shanmukha Sarma Garu, his pravachanas have been very, very useful. And almost the flow for the first two parts is mainly is inspired by his pravachanas. And again, lot of people on the software thing also have put extreme efforts. There is, I think, there are Pappu Nagaraj Garu and there are few other people who ensured that whichever is their books has been translated, has been put on the web in a without any mistakes. I don't know how many proofreadings they have done it. There is this website called andhrabharati.com, an extraordinary, humongous work that one is, where that you could now consider as the authentic one. If you get any doubt of whether this is this way or that way, go there. Normal blogs and all could have errors, but not this one. This has been done very well. And I would like to also thank Professor A. Raghuram Raj Garu. This is the first time I'm talking about anything non-academic, so to say. He has pushed me to this, and thanks to him to give that. And last but not the least, unless such platforms have been created where discussions could happen about on these topics, this all would not have materialized. So I am very much thankful to first create such platform and give an opportunity to have discussions on such things to Bharati Vidya Bhavan Bangalore and their wonderful hospitality and the way they are coordinating from the beginning to the end is really commendable. So I am grateful to them. And may Annamaya bless us that, and we would be able to see the Lord, the hill, everything, at least a portion of the way he happened to say it. So with that note, I'll stop here. Thank you.